Welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network, presented by Primary Arms. Tonight, we're seating bullets. So it'll be a nice short topic because we're not going down the rabbit hole on anything. So, how's everybody doing?
Great.
I'm doing okay. Got grandkids coming this weekend.
That's good.
Yeah, the youngest one is about 1.5 years, and the oldest one is 10. There's two in between. We're about to be invaded by the terrible twos and the fireballs and the football player and a beautiful lady and a little boy that's just barely creeping around.
Sounds
We're
like
going to
fun.
put them on a leash, Marissa says. How about you, Sharonda? Where you been all these months, weeks, days, hours?
You know, the last few weeks has just been a bunch of overtime, and then I got sick and did the man thing and didn't go to the doctor until it got too bad. So I had to get new medication so I could be human. And here I am on a break from work before I have to go back to work tonight.
Welcome back.
Dumb dogs.
You do anything special this week, Jason? How you doing? You getting ready to move? What?
Jim, you got your medication handy?
Me?
Yeah, I got some news for you that might set you back.
Oh my God! You got a package from Idaho.
I got a package from Idaho, and it was
Did you get
actually
everything
the
you ordered?
thing I paid for.
You got everything you paid for.
Yep.
Well,
How long
did you
it
get
take?
anything? Did you get anything you didn't pay for?
The first box that he sent me, that was all the stuff I didn't pay for. Yeah.
How many years was it that you had to wait for the stuff you paid for?
I'm guessing about a year. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, you know.
There's a face I haven't seen in a long damn time. Jason Bauer
Right?
with 2 S's. It's like,
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'd even forgotten the name of his webpage forum. Jason, tell me the name of your website. Jason Bauer.
He spent a lot of time racing quads.
Yeah. There's Miss Kitty. Hey, one of our friends from Down Under's here.
Yeah.
MGM. Weapon owners, that's what it was. Thank you, Jason. Michael Don wants to know what you bought, Jason.
I bought a rifle spinner
From Travis?
from Travis. Yes.
A rifle spinner. Well, you have a hard time making it go fast with a bolt gun.
Depends on how fast I cycle that bolt, I guess.
Or a lever gun.
Ooh,
Don't you have a bolt action centerfire lever gun rifle?
I do.
That's what I thought.
I got a couple of them that might make that spin pretty well.
Oh yeah. Sorry to hear that, Jason. Jason Bauer tells us that the name of the forum and website you used to have was weaponowners.com, but now it's just down to the Facebook page. Sorry to hear you had to dissolve the website, Jason. I actually did something a little kind of gun related. A couple deserving reloaders made a few needs known, and I boxed up some goodies in a box, made a box for it, and I'm fixing to ship it out Friday.
Jim makes good boxes.
Oh, you didn't have to do that. You want me to keep going?
Sure.
I made her 2 ingot molds. 4 cavities each mold. Made it out of 1/4 inch thick, 1x1 angle iron, and with 2 carrying handles on each side. She'll be able to pour about 6.5 pounds of lead at a time. 13-ounce ingots. I didn't want to go with the full 16 ounces. And she had made a need known, so I figured go ahead and made the box for it, stuff like that. And since she said, let the cat out of the bag, that was up to her.
It's right on time because I just got the Dutch oven a couple weeks ago too.
Okay. Oh, when you go to cut your tin ingots, use a hacksaw, but save your tin sawdust. You know what I mean? That's precious stuff. At $15 to $20 a pound, that's precious stuff. So save your tin sawdust, because you're going to want to put it up and break it down in little chunks rather than melt it in alloy. Because you'll wind up wasting a lot of it. If you put 1 pound of tin with 10 pounds of lead, well, now number one, you got a problem. Unless you have a 20-pound pot, you got 11 pounds of alloy.
I do have a 20-pound pot.
That's okay then. If you have a 10-pound pot, you got a problem. You got a pound of alloy that won't fit in the pot.
I mean, honestly, Jim, I don't know if I'm more excited about the molds or the box they're coming in or both together.
Well, the box will have to be disassembled to get the mold out. Two molds out. You have to. I sandwiched everything together. I didn't want it rattling, scaring the hell out of the UPS man.
Oh, my UPS guy, he knows now. He actually rings the bell to make sure that it's not left on the porch.
Good.
Yeah. Anyway, no. That's it. I just made everything fit really close to the size of the molds. The molds are the cavities are facing away from each other. It's all spaced so they can't wobble around. The box is also quite a bit smaller than your herder's box was.
I still have that box too.
What are you using it for?
I put hinges on it. So right now it's holding the ingots that I made from my lesson. So yeah,
did you put rope through for the handles?
No, it's on its own little shelf.
When you fill that box up, you're gonna have to play hell picking it up.
No complaints there.
Okay.
If that ever happened.
Anyway, there's trouble. 3rd line up from the screen. 2 lines above Shrenda. So you do anything else? Jason, were we on the air when you told us about try to give me another heart attack?
Yeah, we were.
Okay.
I did. So last weekend I was working over at my aunt and uncle's house. So they passed quite a few years ago, and the cousins are just now getting it cleaned up and getting it ready to sell. One of my cousins has a bench in there, and they told me that's Danny's bench. He'll come and move it. And so on Sunday, that was the last room we had to do, so we moved into that room. I never even looked at that bench. I just didn't recognize, wasn't thinking, I guess. But as I'm looking at the bench, I see a big blue nylon cover, looks like Dylan colors. So I peek, and there's a 550 sitting in there. And then I start looking at the bench, and he's got powders and primers. And underneath the bench, he's got all kinds of tool heads for the 550. So I offered to get rid of that stuff for him if he didn't want to deal with it, but haven't gotten a response out of him yet. And the bench was too heavy to move. Two of us grabbed onto one end of it, and it wouldn't budge. So there was a lot of projectiles on it too.
Oh, that'll do it.
Sounds like you had your workout out, aren't you? Good thing somebody else is moving it.
Yep.
So I was busy with life, so I didn't really get anything in reloading and stuff done. So, but that's about all I got going on. So we're gonna seat bullets tonight. The only problem I have is I was going to charge the cases right before using the lineman, and I can't find the power cord for it. So I'm throwing charges the old-fashioned way using the manual scale. We're going to seat bullets tonight, and we're going to hear that again. So Cody Charlton said on the Facebook page, he says, so I got into 3D printing and found some useful things to make and aid reloading. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there for 3D printing. So I like Spudman's comment in the chat, UPS, United Package Smashers. I have a friend of mine that works for UPS, and actually fragile in UPS means kick me. So there's a little bit of background on that. Thought everybody got a kick out of that. So
Cody Charlton's on YouTube right now.
Oh, so he's platform hopping, huh? By the way, for any of you wild and crazy kids out there, we're on Twitch now too.
Twitch?
So, Twitch. It's a lot of people use it for live streaming, gaming, and stuff like that. So I have an account because I was watching stuff for a while and found out that StreamYard you can post to Twitch. So I figured, why not? So
sounds like we're going to get big time exposure.
Well, I don't know. Twitch is one of those particular things that you either get a lot of followers quickly, or it takes forever and a day to build. So we'll find out. Anyway, so what I'm doing here is now, normally if I had my full setup, what I have is a little cup that I pour the powder into and then actually spoon it in. But I don't have that option, so we're doing it the old fun, not so fun way of trying to dump it out of the jug.
Mike, take a bottle of that cartridge and trickle it out by hand. It's a lot faster and a lot more precise.
Oh, I got the trickler sitting here, but I got to get close first. So, or are you saying pour it into the cartridge? Or
yeah,
into the empty brass?
Pour it into the empty bottle neck cartridge.
Find one that's got a primer in it.
Yeah, dead primer is fine.
Here we go. I'll use this one.
There you go.
My 475 Bishop.
That'll work.
So. Oops. I'm loading cartridges like Jason now. Fill it all the way to the top and cram a bullet in it.
That was me. And put a heavy for caliber bullet on top of it, full case. Heap in full case, 2400, 357 Magnum. Boy, that gun recoiled.
I suppose so. So one of the problems with beam scales is just like your regular scales, they don't necessarily like to. What the hell's going on here? Oh, it's not sitting in there right. Ah, that'll help. Anyway, so yeah, it's kind of important to make sure that you're. See if I can. It's not going to show. Anyway, it's kind of really important to make sure that this is actually seated properly. Otherwise, your scale doesn't work very well. So, just want to mention that. So here I got all this powder I've been putting on there, and then it's way over. So.
Sorry about all the noise. I was being assaulted.
I saw that. I muted it for you so that way you can continue to be abused. So, because we enjoy it.
Now we have a permanent record of my abuse, the abuse that I have to tolerate.
Because we enjoy it every time she abuses you. So,
Miss Kitty, that was my girlfriend. Her name is Sally. I am going to get my throat cut yet.
Oh yeah, she's going to give you a South American necktie.
Or what was that lady's name from Venezuela? Lorena what? What's short?
Bobbitt.
Oh, that. Oh,
Bobbitt.
What a name too. John Bobbitt, Lorena Bobbitt. Yeah, she didn't. He got it.
Minnie Bobbitt. Anyway, exactly. Back to bigger and better things.
Yeah, no double entendre there.
Not at all. Good grief. So, now the challenge to a beam scale is getting level and making sure you let it wiggle to make sure that it's set. By the way, the charge I'm throwing is 34.2.
34.2 grains of what in what? Oh, you're reloading 35 Remington.
35 Remington, and it is IMR 3031.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's too full. So.
Did you say too full?
Yep.
It shows. My God.
So that's weird. Anyway. All right. So I'm not going to waste what time we have dinking around with this. We'll do a bullet seat and make a dummy cartridge and go from there. Because you should really make a dummy cartridge anyway. So we'll show you how to make a dummy cartridge. So Michael Dunn is asking some lovely questions, which we will answer when we go down the rabbit hole. So this is basics tonight, kids. I forgot to put that part of it in the show notes, but this is basic tonight. So literally, we're just going to seat the bullet, and we're going to seat it to book specs for cartridge overall length, because we're making a dummy round. And that is not what I was looking for. So, how the hell did I wind up with 308 on my bench? Anyway. So, yeah, somehow I wound up with a bunch of 38 on my, or 308 on my bench. That's always fun. Anyway. All right.
You don't want to pull Jason Trumbo and fire 270 and 30-06.
No, I don't want to try.
You could probably fire a 308 in a 35 rem. Probably. Depending upon the shoulder of the 35.
Gonna go with no. You won't even get the bolt to close.
Good.
So, at any rate, so let me.
I'll answer his question.
Yeah.
You go ahead and do what you got to do. If you, it looks like you got to leave the screen for a minute.
Yep. I got to move the camera. So.
Anyway, Jason Bauer asked a good question. And the question is, any tips on seating 7.62 by 39 so it's watertight? There is such a thing as buying nail polish, Jason. Clear nail polish, if you prefer. You could use pink or green or blue or whatever. It doesn't really matter. I'm quite serious about that. You know, a lot of people do that simply so that they can see the color. And what you do with the nail polish is you cut it down to about water thin with acetone. It is in a Sharenda nail polish remover. And you water it down quite a bit. And this way you take a small artist paintbrush. And once your ammo is set and reloaded, you could take it, put a little tiny bit right around with a pointed artist paintbrush, little tiny thing, maybe 1/8 of an inch in diameter. You don't need a whole lot, and run a light line of that nail polish around the periphery of the junction of where the brass comes up into the cannel or the bullet, or on the shank of the bullet, whichever your case may be. Sharenda, shame on you, lady. I don't steal it, I buy it. Sharenda just accused me of stealing my wife's nail polish. For goodness sakes. I catch hell when I steal it.
Yeah, no kidding. He buys his own. He's got like 30 different colors.
Yeah, can't you see it on my fingers? Anyway, that's how to seal it up, Jason. You can also do the same thing on the primer pocket. That way it's totally sealed up.
Yep.
Can I add a side note on there?
Please do.
Vanessa was right on the nose when she said acetone. If you guys are going to thin it out, you just can't use any old nail polish remover. It does have to say acetone.
Correct. And that's important because 5 years ago, literally all there was acetone. But as we've gotten more friendly, it's gotten different.
I have to address Paul Nelson's comment. He's absolutely right. The military uses a sticky tar-like substance and places it on the bullet. Actually, they also place it on the inside of the case, Paul. It's called asphaltum. I don't believe they're using it anymore. But I know for a fact, I've took apart some military 30-06 machine gun ammo. You can tell how old that was. And it had quite a bit of asphaltum on the shank of the 150 grain full metal jack of bullets. That was a good comment. Thank you, Paul. And you're welcome, Jason. It's maybe my nail polish, but it'll still seal your cases up.
Yeah, it works really well.
I like neon orange myself.
Well, you know, that way you know what's on there. I'm waiting for a camouflage nail polish. That's what I'm waiting for.
That comes in layers.
Anyway. All right.
Whenever
gang.
you're ready, Mike.
So this is a 35 rem, and we are loading a 200 grain jacketed round nose. So this ugly beastie here, I should there, a little easier to see. So we're loading this little beastie here. Yes, it's got a cannular line. Are we going to crimp there yet necessarily? Maybe, maybe not.
That's almost a half ounce of bullet.
Yep. So for that particular load, for that particular, so one of the things with overall length or cartridge overall length, COAL or OAL, is it is very dependent on the bullet. So like the 180 2.470 OAL. The 200 grain jacketed round nose that we're using, it has a 2.475 OAL. The 200 grain jacketed FTX, which is the Hornady soft tip that they use in these, is a 2.540 OAL. So you got to watch and look. So we're shooting for 2.475 when we set this up. So we've got our calipers. We got our empty brass. We got our bullet, because we're making a dummy round this time. We already have our shell holder in here from last time. I have switched out the die to the bullet seating die. So this requires 2 steps. You've got your overall body length, which you're going to set. And then you've also got the seating depth for the bullet. So I don't think it's probably got a taper crimp in it. I don't know. I do not have a factory crimp die for this, so that's not going to be an option. So now the question is, was that case sized? Yes. So what I'm checking here is to make sure that this case was sized. And so I'm test seating the bullet and pushing, and it will not go down, because we don't need a repeat of the demonstration we did for the handgun. We already showed a mistake in how to fix it. So first step in getting the bullet seating depth set is what?
Mike, may I ask you a question first? This has to do with your camera. Is there any way you can zoom in on the press?
Let's see.
I mean, optically or electronically, whichever the case may be.
I don't know if I can.
Sure would be nice if you could. Get a little more detail of the press itself. And while Mike's figuring out whether or not he can zoom in, I have to finish addressing Jason Bauer's question. Jason, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean by back in a spam can's lacquer. I think you mean spray lacquer or paint. Please elaborate. We'll get to it when Mike's ready. Yes, he prepped his brass a few weeks ago, Jason. Jason Bauer asked another question related to what we're putting on the show tonight. He asked if the questions are already sized to ND Bird. Well, he did size it. He showed you that because you can't force the bullet in by hand. Thank you, Jason. Well, you'd have to buy a spray lacquer in such a way that you could thin it down, to tell you the truth. Then, of course, you'd have to wind up spraying it on. Well, no, you wouldn't have to. You'd have to buy it in an open container if you're just going to use a paintbrush. The other thing I want to address while Mike is figuring out something here, resolving a technical issue, and that's you don't want, whatever you do, you don't want the lacquer on the shank of the bullet. You don't want the lacquer on the inside of the case. It will create a bullet weld that will blow your gun up. Do not do that. Put it on seated ammo only. Finished ammo only. Do not put it inside the case. If you do, you will hate life, and you'll probably hate us and sue everybody else. Remember the disclaimer. You're on your own when you listen to what we tell you.
So we have to say goodnight to Sharenda. She's got to go back to work.
Yes, sir.
No, it's not a White Claw. It's a PBR hard tea seltzer. So one I was going to drink last week, but I didn't. And it's just sitting there. So for bullet seating, kind of goes into the, it says place a sized, primed, and powder charged case in the shell holder, run it to the top of the press on stroke. So there we go. We got that up. And then screw the cedar die into the press until you feel it touch the mouth of the case. So this is always a challenge. As you can hear, I'm screwing it quite a bit.
Did you back the seating plunger all the way off first?
Nope. But there it's making contact.
So now you're going to back that up a turn? I'm asking, I'm not telling.
It's for RCBS, they only want you to back them up an eighth of a turn.
Okay.
So that's not a lot.
No, it's not.
What I got to do is unlock the lock ring first.
Mm-hmm.
Because these are the fancier ones.
Yeah, they have a set screw over a brass plug.
So. Ooh, that wasn't good.
Nope. I saw that thing go flying.
Well, that sucked. Looks like it went under the bookshelf. This is the Mondayest Tuesday ever.
Yeah, GGW got it, reloading got it right. Murphy's Law. If it can't happen, it will happen.
Yeah,
if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong.
I'm Irish, so Murphy loves hanging out with me. Stupid.
You're not drinking Jameson tonight, me lad, are they?
No, that I'd be exempt. I was going to buy some Jameson on the way home, and I didn't.
I prefer my Kraken. Anyway.
Yeah, I know you do.
Mike, you got another set of Allen wrenches?
Oh, I'm looking to see if I got one handy.
3:30 seconds. We can't get rid of that lady yet. Second disclaimer from Pink Shear Sharanda. Second disclaimer: do not consume booze while reloading. That's why I drink unhardened iced tea. At least while I'm on the show.
Oh, what the park.
Some of you folks and Brian Nixon would remember Jim got drunk on the air one night. And, well, never mind. I know Jason and Mike remember.
Yep.
Shut up, Jason. You didn't have to agree so readily.
All right. So I luckily got the lock ring loose enough that I can turn it. So back it back off. Now that I was dinking around. Wait till I make that contact. Back it.
I hear gunfire. I literally hear gunfire right now. It's 8:40 in the evening, and I hear gunfire outside my house.
Well, that's not good.
Oh, it's at a range. Somebody's got privately illuminated range.
Oh, that's cool then.
And it's the sound of freedom, folks. Sound of freedom.
Hi, Gracie. What's up? Dang whiner. See, this is the problem with not having my Leatherman on me. Oh, wait a minute. I got the scripper right here. Silly me. So, one of the nice things that they do is they put a flathead in the top of that. Come on now. Ah, screw it. But what they do is they put a flathead slot in here so you can actually just put a flathead screwdriver in there. All right. So reloading is the only time it is in a man's life where it's absolutely, completely, perfectly acceptable and actually required to read the instructions. So we'll make that clear. All right. So we're going to do bullet seating without crimping. which is the easier one. It says, so when you back it up an eighth of a turn and set the large rock ring, it'll leave a gap between the bottom of the die and the shell holder about a 16th of an inch or thickness of a nickel. Yes. Next, lower the case and insert the bullet into the mouth. Slowly run the case into the seeder die. Generally speaking, the base of the seeded bullet should be level with the lower end of the case neck. So what they're talking about is, so it, oh, good grief. Definitely the Tuesdayest Monday ever.
Mike's trying to take and show us how to do it. He should have done it with his left hand. Get another bullet, Mike. Should have done it with his left hand, but his left hand is in the way of the camera, and he's watching his monitor at the same time. But be careful you don't pinch the shit out of your finger, Mike. Because doing it so awkwardly, it's like, yes, exactly. What he's trying to do is guide the bullet in the case into the seeding die. Yeah. And hopefully he doesn't drive that bullet down beyond the rifling. He probably won't. I'm just saying hopefully for the newcomer's sake. Go ahead, Mike.
Yep.
Where you at? You lost the case, Mike. It's up in the die.
Yes, it is. So, anyway, so how deep the bullet seats is adjusted with this. You can kind of do it one of two ways. You can guesstimate and go ahead and seat the bullet for starters and see where you're at, and then you can adjust from there. Or once you get used to your dies and what your settings are, then it makes it a little easier, and you kind of learn where it is. So,
Mike, let me ask you this:
what
would you mind putting that partially seated bullet in front of the camera?
Yeah, I'm going to.
Okay, thank you, folks. So look, he's got at least an eighth of an inch, maybe 3/16 of an inch, the seating depth to go to just get to the case mouth of the cantilever. If that's what he's going to do.
So right now we're at 2.614. Does anybody remember what we're shooting for?
No. I make it a point to never try to remember memorize details like that.
What we're shooting for is that.
Well, like I told you before then, friend, set your calipers for 0, press that 0 button, and then just keep on shoving it in there until it goes down to 0. Let your calipers do your math for you.
Yep, so there we've got that much to go. So we're going to go ahead and put that back in there. We're going to turn that down. I did about 5/8 of a turn. Run it up, bring it back down, see if we made any progress.
He did. I could tell from just by looking at it by eye through the camera.
So we went down 2/100ths. So now we've got an idea of how much we're moving it with that swing. So now we know we can go ahead and do full turn and we'll be fine. Run it back up, and it didn't do a damn thing.
You might want to check. Oh, did you check your overall with the calipers, Mikey?
Oh yeah, I did. I knocked another thousandths off of it, or 100ths off of it, but that was it.
That's 10 thousandths. That's significant in certain situations.
Right. But we need 1/10 of an inch, so.
Yeah, that's 100 thousandths. I always make it a point to think in thousandths.
Yeah.
But that's for work. That's a work habit.
Yeah, you darn machinist. So you want to make sure you get these up and out. So Jorgen, being the smart Canadian he is, just said that's 28 threads per inch, so 36,000 per full rotation, 3.5 turns should get you close.
Sounds metric to me coming out of the Canuckian lands. Thank you, Jorgen. That's good. That's good math.
All right. Good grief. I gotta find out. See, the only problem with posting this in the reloading room and the podcast group and the podcast page is you never know where people are making comments. So, okay. So Jason Bauer has a question. If the case is sized correctly and the bullet isn't seated to the cantilever, is that fine? Is that still fine if your OAL is still correct? Answer is... So what he's talking about is, say this is our correct cartridge overall length, but the cantilever is up here. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Now, if we're going to go through a magazine and a semi-automatic action, I would say that depends upon your firearm. Each case, your mileage will vary. You're 88 thousandths long, about 9/10 of an inch still. Or 900 of an inch. Sorry, 90 thousandths. Anyway, so yeah, it's fine, and probably in a pump gun, probably in a bolt, and guaranteed it'll be fine in a bolt gun. And it's called seating long. It just has to fit into the magazine. That's the primary criteria we have to go by.
Yep. Nice thing is this is going in a pump gun, so.
What sort of magazine's on that pump gun? Tube mag or box mag?
Tube.
They did make a few 35 Rems with box mags. I figured it was an old 35 Remington rifle with a twisted tube. 52 thousandths to go.
Yeah, the night you were talking about it on the show, the next morning I hopped on Facebook and found one posted up in Appleton and ran up and got it. So.
Oh, good deal. I didn't know that. Didn't realize it was that easy.
Normally it doesn't.
That's with the old twisted tube, right?
Yeah. So, unlike some of the other podcasts where, they just magically get everything set correctly off the time, I prefer to actually show you all that, yes, it actually does happen like this. So,
yeah.
A lot of times you do wind up, the first time you're setting up a die and stuff, you wind up dinking around a lot like this. And
the YouTube pros, as it were, they always got it right and with no mistakes. We try to show you the real reloading.
Yeah.
27 grand. 27 thousandths.
27 grand. What? You got $27,000 you're going to send me? Sweet.
Oh, I said 27 thousandths. The other thing I always have an issue with that OAL, the way Mike is checking it, miking it on the nose like he is right there, is lead deforms. It's soft. And if you drop it, the overall OAL changes. But anyway.
Yeah, so if you look at the...
Right. You had it for a second. You got a flat spot on the nose from where you've been miking it, Mike. It's interesting.
Yeah, not really. I mean, it's not really a flat spot per se because for the most part, it's still the same. It's just a little bit shinier from being touched. So it takes a special touch, shall we say, to be able to use the calipers and not squish the end of the bullet.
Good soft lead, you're right.
So.
Well, that spot also might be from the seating plunger.
Yep, it could be too. So I couldn't remember if I had made an adjustment or not, so I ran the bullet up, checked it. So Chris Lazicki, mine is a Model 14 made in 1914. So we've probably got the same model gun. General Champ Jr., yes, it is too early to talk ogive because we are not seeding off the ogive tonight. We are doing this the old-fashioned simple way. Next week, however, game on. So now...
That's why I'm biting my teeth trying not to mention that word, ogive word.
Right. So now this is 0.003.
That's close enough, Mike. I didn't look. Are you into the candelor yet?
Just barely. With 0.003, I'm probably not gonna get into the candelor fully. But what I did is I wanted to check and see what happens once I tighten this down, because when you tighten it down, it moves. So now, we're, 0.002 the other way. Not going to make a difference.
Nope.
Good enough.
Not in that caliber. You probably for reloading. You probably, if you're going to work up a ladder load or just test loads,
right,
you're going to start it below minimum load anyway. Below minimum pressure. I'm sorry, below. You're going to start at minimum load anyway. Good looking around, Michael. Let that focus come in.
Come on.
There it is. And so you did get into the candelor.
Yep, I got into the candelor.
Good looking around.
Probably about where you want to be, honestly, in my personal opinion, for the candelor. Because you want to be able to see a little bit of that candelor when you crimp.
If you can get a Lee factory crimp die in 35 rem, that would be the perfect place to put the crimp in.
Right. And I do want to crimp these because they're going in a tubular magazine and they're going to bounce around. So I will crimp these, and I will find a factory crimp die, hopefully, somewhere.
When Mike talks about bouncing around, he's talking about recoil, slamming the primer against the nose of the bullet, which is why he's using a round nose or flat nose bullet in 35 rem.
Actually, this specific one, because of the design of the tube, they don't sit that way.
That's it. And you can use a semi-pointed bullet. You're right. But there is such a thing as a straight tube bullet, and we have to think that in those terms.
Right. So your 30-30s.
Straight tube mag, sorry.
Yeah, this is kind of the last real gun they made this style tube mag. It's in the gun safe, and as you can see, there's a bunch of crap in front of the gun safe, so I'm not digging it out right now. But I will get it out for next week, because we'll need it for next week. But there is...
You're muted, Jim.
So the drawback to having a fancy mouse is when you go to pick it up to move it out of the way so you can clean up your powder, and you hit one of them stupid little buttons that goes back a frame.
And your host kicked himself out of the channel.
Yeah, the host kicked himself out of the channel. So that was fun. So as I was saying, Model 14 and the 141 were kind of two of the last rifles that they did this tubular magazine on, where they did the spiral flute effect to allow, instead of the cartridges sitting in there like they do with the 30-30, which is nose to tail. Let me get back up to the big screen here. There we go. So instead of sitting like this nose to tail in this 30 in the Model 14 and the 141, they actually sit kind of like this. So if you do use a spire point, it's not going to hit the primer. But to make those, it's a lot more labor intensive and a lot more material than just making a straight magazine tube that they sit in like this. So it kind of went away. But so here we have our dummy cartridge. No primer, no powder. Correct overall length. And that's set to go.
And now Mike can save that, put it in his die box for that caliber and that particular bullet, and he can use that for setting up his seating die for the next time around.
Yep. So what you can do for next time, so say I pull this off and for whatever reason I changed it or whatever.
Longer bullet, lighter bullet.
Yeah, see, I was playing around with bullets. I'm playing around with seating depths. And so I changed this here. What I can do. Well, she didn't come in here. I agree. So, when you change this, what you can do is you take your dummy around, and just like we did when we set the die up originally, where we cranked it down to make contact with the mouth of the case, we're going to do the same thing. Because if I'm just playing with seating depths, this is still set. I just move this up and down. So what I can do is I can bring that up, and then I can loosen this nut here, and I can work it down till it touches the bullet, and then back it off a little bit and check. So, and whether I'm doing this on a single stage press or on a progressive press like the 550 or this, any of the other ones, the setup's the same for the die. It's just that you have to work within the confines of everything else when you're working with a progressive press, because you've got multiple dies that you're setting up at the same time. So you kind of got to balance and go with. Questions, comments, gentlemen? No.
I'm here. Trying to figure out who's making comments, but he's got a good comment. That might be Jason Bauer still. He said it's good to label the case as a seat setup as a dummy round for his with a Sharpie pen or magic marker. Good comment if that's you, Jason. Mike, you muted your screen, but you forgot to mute your microphone.
Well, it's because I'm still talking.
Okay.
It's not like you can hear the camera moving.
Yes, I can.
Oh, well then.
I can hear you making the adjustments with the camera base. Howdy, Ray Rodden.
So there we go. So yeah, Paul Nelson said get a paint pen and place witness marks on the die. And then you write down the load data for that load. So let's see here. So that's one of the things with RCBS is they give you a card to do it with. The other thing you can do is like Nick and Ray's sheet, which is in Discord, posted in Discord. You can do that too. So, and that is your basic bullet seating. So, Jen Champ Jr. said he sprays his lightly with paint. He says the dummy around, not the dies. Yeah, we don't want to spray the dies. So if you want to kind of compare, some people actually take and do what I said but use the factory round for seating. Now this is that FTX bullet that I was just talking about, the 200 grain.
And 35 rem?
Yep.
Boy, it's a stubby looking pointed bullet.
Yes. So, but it's got the flexible tip on it that they started with the Lever Evolution brand from Hornady. So that way they can touch primer to tip and not have a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, must be a real soft point.
But Michael Dunn, you need to be in Discord in order to get that sheet. It is posted on our Discord channel, so you need to be in Discord to get that.
Michael, if you contact Mike or myself via Facebook Messenger or our email address is on the links for the show notes. So it's like contact us, we'll get you the link.
Yep.
Discord has upgraded that link process quite a bit. Now we send you an invite. It's good for 7 days.
Yeah, they still don't have permanent, but
it's available on the MeWe page too. Michael Dunn, if you're on MeWe, you can contact us easily over there.
Yep. So Chris Lazicki wants to know, how hard was it finding brass for your 35 rem here in Alberta? It took some searching and a few gun shows to eventually find some brass. It wasn't actually, to be completely honest. I had a listener named Greg that sent me the dies and the brass, and the projectiles for that matter. So, so it wasn't that hard. However, I actually was looking for brass, and it's out there. Well, it was then. That was pre-COVID. There was plenty of it out there. Now I don't know, but I believe
I wonder if availability would have anything to do with the caliber. You know, an oddball caliber, non-major caliber like 35 rem. I bet you it'd be easier to find brass than it would be for something like 223 9mm 308.
Remington has unprimed brass. Hornady has unprimed brass. Winchester makes unprimed brass. Obviously, it's all out of stock right now. I just went to Graff and Sons quick. They've got their own line of brass too. So, and it looks like Quality Cartridge also makes 35. But see, that's kind of the advantage of being down here in the States versus you guys up in Canada. I'm still in Wisconsin. I'm still right outside the 75 square miles of insanity, surrounded by reality, also known as Madison. What was that question? Starline. I was going to check and see if they do, but I want to say at this moment they don't.
I think Starline focuses mainly on handgun brass. No, they upgraded to the full size case. Good.
Oh, they've got a lot of rifle brass.
Maybe that was when they started out.
Yeah, when they very first started, they started it as handgun and a couple of the common rifle, but now they've really expanded out. So, I do not see 35 Remington.
Another place for that to get that brass in pretty good shape is fire those old boxes of ammunition.
Mm-hmm.
You might be surprised. You might come up with 4 or 5 boxes of it, and that's 100 rounds.
Yep. But I mean, they've got all sorts of stuff they've added. 375 Win, 45 Raptor, 4440, 450, 4570, 458 Hammer, 458 SOCOM, 4590. Blank brass.
Old oddball calibers. Nice.
3220, 32 Winchester Special. 3008 Match, 30-06, 300 or 300 Hammer, 300 Blackout, 30 Carbine, 277 Wolverine, 260, 243, 270. 12.7 by 4.2.
Wow, that's going to be a fat, stubby cartridge.
50 Alaskan, 500 Automax, 5110, 5070, 5090, 5650 Spencer, 65 Creed, both small and large primer, 65 Grendel, 68 Basic, 68 SPC, 6 Creedmoor, and good old-fashioned Chicom, 7.62 by 39. So, I mean, they've got a lot of rifle brass. And let's see for Bristol. Oh,
no 500 Magnum, though. That's kind of communist of them.
What?
No 500 Magnum brass.
That's because it's in pistol, you schmuck.
No.
Silly.
You didn't know that? You didn't know that was pistol brass, Jason? Handgun
No.
brass? You own a 500 Magnum.
Holy
I
crap,
didn't
they got
realize I
Tokarev
was looking
brass.
at rifle calibers.
And you didn't realize that it was a handgun caliber. You fired that gun a few times.
I got
If
32.
it's a rifle, then I'm shooting a rifle caliber.
You have a rifle and 500 Magnum?
No, but I really want one.
Hey, there's a company in Montana that makes a lever gun in 500. That's only like $4,000.
Yeah, I can't afford it,
Right?
but I really want one.
Well, after you move and you're not paying so much for your everything, maybe you'll be able to save some money and afford it.
Maybe.
So, yeah, they have 500 Smith & Wesson mag brass. They also have 500 special. They have 500 line bar. They have 7.65 French long, 9mm Largo, Luger, Makarov, Steyr, Win Mag, 9mm plus P, 9x21, 9x23, 45 Super, 45 Win Mag, 455 Webley Mark II, Roland, 460 Roland, 460 Smith & Wesson Mag, 475 line bar, 475 Wildy.
I thought we drifted away from the cartridge corner.
We did. We'll go back to it eventually. 30 Luger, 30 Mauser, 30 carbine, 32 auto, 32 H&R mag, 32 Smith & Wesson short and long, 32-20, 327 Fed mag, 357 mag, 357 maximum, 357 SIG. Yeah, they have a couple types of brass.
357 mag max. That's a hell of a caliber there,
right? That's not a bad price. They have Tokarev brass, $124 for 500 pieces. It's only a quarter a piece. That's not bad for that stuff. That is not bad at all. So, oh, cool! Like you can get that's nice. So, obviously some of this stuff's back ordered, but some of it's not. So, yeah. And then they've got, I think that 8mm Mauser or 8mm Mauser or GGW reloading. I just didn't look. So, so a little bit of good news on the ammunition and stuff front. I was listening to Gresham today from Sunday at work, and he wouldn't say who, but there are 3 ammunition companies right now that are building primer manufacturing. So, so that's something to look forward to. Obviously, if they're building it now, unless they're building it in an existing space and they've got some of the stuff already to go, you're looking at probably 6 to 9 months at the very minimum of setup. So you're probably looking at a year before we start seeing anything, but it's promising. So, but I mean, we're still seeing some primers here and there at the store. But what's going on there? It's awful quiet. How come it's quiet?
I'm actually trying to get people to the link to the MeWe group.
Ah.
This would be for Brian Buffard. Oh, Jason took care of it.
There you go.
And Jason just dropped off.
Uh-oh.
Brian Buffard, if you need the link, let me know. I have it on my clipboard on my computer.
Oh, Jorgen got a Belgian Browning Safari chambered in 300 Holler in Holland. Nice. So.
Ooh, he spent $1 or $7.
Yeah, he did. or more like 150. You know, it's Canadian money, so it costs more.
And 7 get you 150, huh?
Yeah.
That's that weak-kneed Canuckian money.
Right.
Aye.
Hey, Jim, do you have your Patriot Patch Company patch of the month handy?
I think I do.
Because I don't know where mine went.
Got a bunch of them. Hey, there's Thumper right there.
Let's put Thumper up there on the big screen.
Yay!
So that...
Thumper got a thumper.
Yes, Thumper did. So that is the Patriot Patch Company patch of the month for April. That's actually the sticker that you get with it.
Yep,
So
with patches in the bag.
So you can do that. You can be go to patriotpatch.co and you can sign up for the patch of the month. Or if you want to help the podcast at the same time, you can go to firearmsradio.tv/pledge-reloading-podcast and join up at the loaded cartridge level, which is $20 a month, and you get the patch of the month, and then you're helping the show. So,
guys, believe it or not, Patriot Patch Company also has a MeWe page. Group, not page, group.
Yes, they do. And Jake's actually working on building back on Facebook. Unfortunately, Facebook being Facebook, for some reason decided to go full potato and ban Patriot Patch Company's page. So Jake's working on building a new one. So, but
there he is. Thumper got an M79 Thumper.
There you go.
Love that bunny, especially when he goes thump 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 thump. You can take it off me now, Mike. I'm not that pretty.
So Blue Green Eye wants to know what brand and types of primers are you seeing? Are you seeing a single brand and a single type? No, I'm not seeing a single brand and a single type. I'm seeing CCI and Winchester so far, and Federal. And I've actually seen pretty much everything. All of the CCIs, except for the bench rest. The only bench rest CCI I've seen is the one that I actually snaked some of, which is the large rifle standard.
Don't they call Magnum. That number 41?
I don't know.
You buy a whole case of them?
No, I bought 4.
4 cases?
No, I bought 4 packs. BR2.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
BR2 is the...
Oh, only 400 rounds. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't need... I just got them to play with.
You always need to buy your primers by the case.
Period. Well, if they had them by the case, I probably would have, but, you know.
Yeah, I know.
There's this thing going on right now.
Jason remembers 2012.
Yep.
When the Groundhog Day was coming fast, and my God, that Groundhog Day is still coming too. Looks like it may be coming for real this time.
Yep. So, but yeah, I mean, they're starting to come back. So, check an email quick. Oh, I don't want to do that. See if we got a quick question we can answer.
Ray McKnight asked Jason if the 500 mag recoil is heavier than a 44 mag recoil. I've seen photos of Jason shooting that 500 mag. You're muted, Jason. Jason, you're muted. Unmute yourself, you bum.
Don't tell me what to do, Jim. I'll
never.
Mute it if I want to.
Okay, that sounds good. Sounds better when you're muted.
It was Shane Vidal that took a picture of me just at the right time. I just fired, and you could see the recoil impulse climbing up the skin of my arm. It was pretty crazy. It's got a hell of an impulse.
Yeah, and the barrel of the gun's pointed about 85 degrees to the vertical. Well, it might be 80.
All right, I think that question got answered on Down the Rabbit Hole. All right, so I don't really see any quick questions.
We have a groaner on screen. Jorgen Rangan, we're going to horsewhip you with a piece of wet spaghetti.
Why are we doing this?
Because his comment something about he's putting a little crack at Michael Dunn. And his comment is at Michael Dunn. Well, let's set it up. Michael Dunn put the comment on YouTube, limit his 2 sleeves of primers at Shields. And Jorgen Rangan says, 2 sleeves should cover the right to BARE arms. Jorgen, that was weird and that was weak and lame.
Hey, yep. Oh, Jason, by the way, so we've had 2 500s come in. They were both the 4-inch in the last 3 weeks. One somebody ordered off the web, and the other one we actually had in stock for a while. But 2 young ladies, one was probably 90 pounds. The other one was like 110. Came and got them.
You're kidding.
Nope. The one that was like 90 pounds said she's been shooting her dad's since she was young. She was probably like 22, 23 years old. So, but yeah.
Yeah, at the range, when I shoot that thing,
Yep.
there's usually people that come and what is that and whatnot. And there's been a few ladies that wanted to shoot it. And one of them shot it multiple times.
Are you reloading for that thing yet, Jason?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think he can afford to buy ammo for it?
That thing, Jim. Crazy.
I'm sorry, Jason. Please repeat yourself.
I can't afford to buy ammo for that thing.
That's what Mike just said when he covered you up. Anyway, ladies shooting that thing, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I took a 450 Full out of Sal's hands. He gave it to me to shoot. I shot 3 rounds and I handed it back. I said, "That's enough for me."
Yeah.
I shoot 44 Magnum all day long. What about Hookem?
Hookem's got a 454 with a 2-inch barrel.
Ooh. Ooh. That's nasty.
Yep. Ruger Alaskan. That's one of them bar guns.
He meant BARE, not BAR. Yeah, you're right, Jorgen. The best pun is the worst one pun.
Oh,
That was kind of a pun, Mikey. Thank you. Bar gun.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we're about done for the night.
Yeah, I don't see any quick questions, so we're going to wrap her up here. Want to thank Primary Arms for being a show sponsor. Looking at all the fun stuff they got. Not a lot of ammo at the current moment. Keeps coming and going, but the amount of stuff that they've got is just amazing. Definitely check the sale. They always have a sale going. So right now it's the pull the trigger sale. So it looks like a lot of AR parts. Lots of good stuff there. But yeah, they got all sorts of fun stuff going on there. Well, they got some Hoppy's aerosol on sale. Sweet. Some 6 Hour optics and some of their optics and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, they've got an amazing selection of stuff. It's not just their optics anymore, like it used to be. So, but they've got a crap ton. They sell everything from springs to full guns too. So clothing, accessories, all sorts of, they've got a bunch of duty gear stuff. So you've got, plate carriers and knives and plates themselves and all sorts of fun. Lights and lasers and optics and targets and
room freshener. That would be hobbies number 9, isn't it?
right. Yeah. There.
And it's not hard to make a room freshener with number 9.
Nope, not at all. So.
Sorry.
No.
No, I know I made noise.
Oh no, you're fine. All right, gang. So yeah, a little shorter show tonight. But bullet seating when you're doing it basically is basically basic. Pretty quick, pretty simple, pretty easy. So the hardest part's getting the die set up. As you saw, it took a while of adjustments and tweaking to get it set where we wanted it. But now where we've got it set where we wanted it, it's just done. So, but and on that note, gang, I want to take time to thank everybody who sends us emails at reloadingpodcast@gmail.com. Thank everybody who sends us a text message or calls us at 608-467-0308. Thank you, Jorgen, for that awesome tip. The dab of hops on the collar attracts the right kind of lady. Raymond McKnight wants to know if bullet ogive will be explained next week. Yes.
What's a bullet ogive?
What is it? You asked it, so you'll have to wait till next week.
Yes.
So. Jason.
That's a ringtone if I ever heard one.
That's kind of cool.
My phone was, and I answered it too. Can I say good night? This is my kid.
Good night.
Good night, Jason.
Good night, everyone. See you next week.
Give the kid regards.
Okay, we'll do.
Bye.
All right.
Well, this is the way we started out, Mike. Years ago.
Yeah, no kidding. 8. So.
8 years ago, guys. 8 years ago.
6 years ago, we were in Nashville.
8 years ago, we started. It was in May, as I recall, Mike. When is our anniversary? Do you know?
We don't have an official one.
Oh.
We started originally in March. So. But the first few episodes, we were plenty of weeks in between. So. But
that's right. We started out every other week.
Yep, or every third week. Wasn't a real set schedule for the first couple months. So we were figuring stuff out. So.
Yes, Michael Dunn. It's been 8 years.
Yep. So.
That would go back to what? 2013. Yeah.
Yep. 2013 is when we started this mess.
I was doing the podcast Reloading Radio in 2012.
Yep.
Then I found out, like you did, doing a podcast by yourself is for the birds.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Whoever put a thumbs down on our show needs to be kicked out of the channel.
No, that's perfectly acceptable to put a thumbs down.
Oh, that's all right.
I just wish they would explain why.
Yeah, they don't have the nerve to do that.
Well, you never know. Some people do. We'll see.
I don't like the show. Hell, man, I love the show.
So, all right, gang. On that note, thanks to all the Patreons who join us every week or who help us make this possible. Thanks to everybody who joins us in the live chats. Thanks to everybody who gives likes and thumbs up. And if you don't like something about the show, tell us.
Tell us why.
Yeah. Reloadingpodcast@gmail.com. So it's important. If you guys are going to give thumbs down, that's cool. But if you give thumbs down, it's very important to give feedback to whoever you're giving thumbs down to, unless, of course, you're just a raging rectum. Then, you just randomly go around giving thumbs down. So, but
you mean a gas passing anal orifice?
Something like that. So next week we are going down the rabbit hole on bullet seating. We'll talk about ogives and all the different ways, and we'll talk about seeding off the lands and all sorts of fun stuff.
Raymond McKnight. I do want to make one clarification. It's spelled O-G-I-V-E, like spelled, and it looks like it's spelled Ogive. No, it's Ogive. The G is pronounced like a J. Okay? No, just to educate. I'm not being a smartass.
So, all right, gang. On that note, keep your brass shiny. Let's see, who else should we throw out there? So Sharenda, teach a lady to reload. She just might like it. Travis isn't here, so he doesn't get counted.
Okay.
I'm trying to decide which one Jason is on.
Jason likes to say, "Be an asset, not a liability."
Yep.
And it's my turn, since we only had 4 folks on the show. I'm going to change my tagline tonight.
All right.
Remember, gun control isn't about guns. It's about controlling you.
Yep.
You, the guy that I'm pointing at. The one I'm looking at my finger right now. It's about control. Support the Second Amendment. It's the most important thing you could do.
Call your Congress kidders.
Yep.
So, all right, gang. Thanks, everybody, and good night.